Hello again, everybody. This is AristoCrits post-game Q&A interview thing. We're just going to talk with everybody a little bit, and I actually have a computer here now so we can interact with the chat room. I'm going to turn that sound down because I can't listen to myself because it would be horribly confusing to me. Yeah. Guys, we've got a few questions here. I like that someone asked, probably James said, would giving the loot to Varys just be like burying him with the gold like in ancient Egypt?
Oh. Yeah.
So. Didn't happen, but yeah.
It would have been a nice way to go.
It would have been a nice way to go. Also, Daniel just said in all caps, Thai pepper, which I believe is a reference, Ben, to something you do.
Yeah, I always plug Thai pepper on my podcast. I don't know if it's.
What's this podcast that you didn't plug?
I do a podcast called On the Cusp, which is like interviews with comedians, like mostly people out of UCB. And at the beginning, I always have an advertisement for Thai pepper, but I don't know if that's related to. Is it?
It's not related to D&D, but it's a valid question.
I'm curious why you yelled Thai pepper.
If you're still there, Daniel, we want to know why specifically you yelled Thai pepper.
It's a great restaurant.
Okay, well, you know what? They're not sponsoring us. They sponsor your podcast. So.
They don't sponsor my podcast.
They wish they could.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone. If you guys have any questions, let us know.
How do you get a group together?
Oh, that's right. Looks like someone asked earlier, how do you get a group together? I mean, I feel like you guys don't have a lot of input on that, but for us, I've always played with friends, so I'm not the best person to ask this, but I would say I've met a lot of people who nowadays actually play a lot online. I just learned about, I learned about this from a question we got from a viewer in one of our first shows. They asked me if I like to use Roll20 or another online RP app, and I checked out Roll20 this past week, and it seems awesome. Like, Roll20 is an app where you use like webcams and like a chat interface and stuff like that to play basically this remotely with different people. And Roll20 has basically a looking for group type option. So you can play with your friends, but you can also say, hey, I'm looking to play online and don't have a group. I would like to join a game. So that might be one way to try it if you don't have people in your area. I also know that in our area, Los Angeles, there's a lot of game stores that have role-playing nights, and you can usually find like a D&D group there. A lot of those places run it through Wizards of the Coast's actual official, it's called the Adventurers Guild or Adventuring Guild. And that's like a weekly thing where you can go and meet up with people and play D&D. So if you meet people there, also you might be able to spin off your own campaign.
I would also say, like, if you are interested in D&D, your friends are probably similar to you, as most people's friends are. Even if your friends don't really know that much about it or have experience, just float it to them. Like, one of the campaigns that I'm playing in right now is the DM is super experienced and I'm very experienced, but the other 3 people playing in the campaign with us, it's basically they're all of their first time playing D&D, and they're all having a great time. And it's not hard to learn. So you could even get a group together of like 5 people who are totally new to it, spend 20 minutes with the PH, the player's handbook, and you can start playing. It's fun.
I had fun.
Me too.
MMFish1 asked, what's everybody doing this weekend?
I'm going away for my birthday. I am 36.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Happy
birthday.
I'm turning 36 like what's her face?
Betsy.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's fun.
That's exciting.
Where are you going?
We're going to Palos Verdes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go anywhere.
You guys?
I'll be in an improv class, and then also coaching improv. A lot of improv, basically. It's my weekend plan so far.
I'm shooting an independent pilot with my friends Robert, Stevens, and Alex
nice.
Whittington. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, that's great.
That's great.
Cool.
I was supposed to be shooting an internet sketch, and it's possible that just got canceled today, unfortunately, which I'm bummed about. But on Saturday, I may be either playing another game I play called Netrunner at a tournament, or playing another game that I'm playing with some friends called Pandemic Legacy.
Or we could finish Time Stories, which is a game that we started with another friend of ours.
Anyways, the point is, because this sketch got canceled, I'm just going to fill it with more games, which is appropriate for me, because I love games. Probably James asks, question for Clay, what do you think of the 5th edition Monster Challenge ratings? Are the encounter building guidelines good for this show, or does me, have to scale encounters up or down? Very technical question. I'll take this one, guys. Basically, I think the encounter ratings are good. I think they're not for variety for this show, just so that like people aren't constantly fighting the same level 1 or 2 monsters. I do like adjust things a bit. Like I will tell you guys now that we're done playing, that was not an actual red dragon, like from the monsters manual.
Now you tell us.
But it was a brass dragon that I just modified a little bit to make it the tiniest bit more thematic. And also, I'll tell you this, I was shocked that you stopped using Eldritch Blast, because why would you use a strength-based attack on a dragon?
Because it was so weak by that point because of what had happened to the portal.
Because what had happened in the portal, its AC dropped, and you would have probably hit it very easily with your Eldritch Blast. Anyway.
Good to know.
Yeah. Geekiest conversation we've had.
I mean, I am interested. That's interesting to know. My thought on it was that it might have disadvantage with anything sort of physical related.
Right.
So that's, and also because it's necrotic damage, certain creatures that's going to be more effective against than others, and I didn't really know because I figured you had sort of homebrewed or like hacked an existing creature. I thought, I don't know, maybe, and I didn't have a cold spell, so
but yeah, it's like, so the monsters, if I can use a level 1 or like a challenge rating 1 or lower one, I will. But yeah, a lot of the time I'll take, because like last week we fought a ghost, or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. No, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week we fought a ghost. The ghosts, as written in the Monsters Manual, are a little too high level for the type of level 1 characters we're using here to play. And so I just kind of hacked the ghost to make it, lowered some of its stats, made it a little easier to hit, made the attacks not so devastating. And yeah, you just raise or lower the level a little bit. It's not too hard. Thank you for watching, Sweet Cadence. He or she just said, thanks, everyone. I think that's about it. There's no other questions.
Best or worst temp job or job?
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that after the second break. We usually we'll ask people what their worst temp job has ever been. Or any type of job.
When I was my first job, I really wanted to volunteer at a hospital, and I was I really wanted to work with kids. I was so excited. It was just a volunteer position, and they made you go through all these tests and interviews, and it was a big deal to be able to work at the hospital. And then when they found out that I was also a sick kid and I had a disease, which we can talk about another time, they were like, well, we don't want you around the kids because you might get them sick. So they just sent me to the file room, and it was I spent 8 hours just refiling those medical files, and then at lunchtime I would meet with my friends, and they'd be like, oh my God, we played with all these kids, and they were so cute. And I found a job that actually paid me and was bye, I'm not helping I'm not actually doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
And yeah. That's it.
I mean, listen.
Fuck those kids.
Kids' medical files got to get organized too.
You're right. You're right. Well, I did it for 3 days.
Ben?
I was a camp counselor in New York for the UN school, and just maybe the worst day there, a 6-year-old girl, it wasn't really her fault because she didn't know what she was doing, but she took a Frisbee and she threw it as hard as she could at my neck.
Oh, no.
And just hit me with this Frisbee right in my jugular.
Oh, no.
So even though she was 6, it was that's the most painful thing that's ever happened to me.
Oof. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a weak part of your body.
Yeah, part of what might happen when you're a camp counselor for 6-year-olds.
Oh my God.
Those both sound terrible. Jen, what was yours? You've had this question before.
Yeah, I don't think we did it last time I was here.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I've never had a job that in and of itself was so terrible because of the job, but I did. In middle school, I was volunteering at a library to help kids learn to read, and the idea was that they would be like between the ages of like 4 and 5, maybe younger depending on the kid. But every day that I would show up, the only person who would show up would be this boy who was 13, who just for some reason like couldn't read, also barely spoke English, and smelled like the worst I've ever smelled a person smell. And I mean, I'm sure it's not his fault. He seemed to have something going on at home that was like very challenging and weird. But he would come every time. And so my whole shift, I would just be reading like one picture book with him, trying to teach him the words in the and he like couldn't even remember the book from week to week. So it was just the most frustrating, but I felt so bad experience. It was like this war of emotions that made me very uncomfortable.
Right.
For like 6 weeks.
Those are all good answers for bad jobs.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We haven't gotten any more questions, so I think we'll wrap it up.
Vote on next week's.
I'm an idiot. I forgot that. If you're still watching, go to jash.com/play and you can vote on next week's adventure. We're setting it up right now. Should have mentioned that at the end of the show. Gotta make a better list for myself of everything I have to mention in order to be an adequate host.
I thought you did a great job.
Yeah, you're great.
Oh, stop! Stop it! That's it, guys. Thanks for watching the Q&A. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.